Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to Sasquatch Watch Radio with your hosts, Billy Willard and the Blog Squatcher. Strap in, hold on tight, get ready, because it is about to go down.
Hello, everyone. Hello. Today is December 15th, 2008. Welcome to another episode of Sasquatch Watch Radio. We've got a wonderful guest on with us tonight, but before we introduce our guest, we would like to welcome back our great co-host, the incomparable D.B. Donlin.
Now, see, I thought you were going to say the incompetent D.B. Donlin.
I fooled you.
You missed your chance.
That's all right.
Yes, great to be back. You know what kept me from it? I don't know if you told the listeners last week, but I've been taking these classes, and boy, this last class really kicked my booty. But I'm glad that's all over with.
I bet you are.
So,
I know I don't miss that schoolwork.
Not a bit. So,
what kind of news you got? I know everybody was disappointed because they didn't have you here for the news last week, so I guess you're going to have to make up for it.
Yeah. I do have one item of news. I just ran across this, and this coincidentally is near us at the National Zoo up in Washington, D.C. They keep some orangutans there, and what they recently caught one of their orangutans doing is whistling. And previously, I don't think any scientists thought that orangutans or any other great apes could whistle. So this was a shock and a surprise. And the reason I bring that up is because I don't know if this has happened to you, Billy, but for me, it's been at least 3 times when I've been out in the field, something has whistled. And the most, I guess, famous isn't the right word, but it's on the East Central Ohio chatter that I recorded in April of 2007. There's that, when you hear the when the listeners are listening to our break bumper music, I think you'll actually get to hear it. It's in the music, so you'll miss some of it, but you'll hear it whistling, you'll hear the barking and the other kind of noises that it makes. But that whistling is actually coming from the same creature or creatures that were making that noise. People say, well, that's hogs, that's feral hogs. Well, I don't think hogs whistle, and now we know that orangutans can whistle. So, that just leads you to think, if orangutans can whistle, then maybe any other great ape or descendant of great apes or some sideline from them should be able to whistle. I know it doesn't prove anything, but it's something to think about.
Yep, it definitely is, and I watched it. It's just so that everyone knows, it's on DB's blog, which is the Blog Squatcher. So if you get on there, he's got I think that's a YouTube video, right? I think, but I lost your sound, DB. I don't know if you're still up. We lost DB. Actually, he's not even on the board anymore. But yeah, he's got I believe that's a YouTube video link on his Blog Squatcher. So if you check his blog out, you'll be able to see the video, and you can actually see the orangutan whistling, which is pretty cool. So anyway, while we wait on DB to get back on the line, we will take this opportunity to invite our wonderful guest, Mr. Ed Welch from Minnesota. How are you doing tonight, Ed?
Pretty good, Billy. I'm glad you took me on for a guest tonight.
Well, we're glad to have you, and a lot of people. I tell you what, for those who may or may not know who you are, Ed, tell them what you have been doing here lately, and tell them. Ed has a bunch of videos at YouTube, and he'll probably tell us how you can get to those videos to look at them. But just tell us a little bit about yourself so that everyone becomes familiar with who you are and what you're doing and all that good stuff.
Okay, yeah, well, I've been retired now for the past 6 years and decided to start devoting my time to this research the past couple of years. I had an audio encounter back in 1975 when I was out in Washington State near a town called Medical Lake. And I never did forget that audio encounter I had, but I didn't even know it was a Bigfoot until years later when I heard a recording on a popular Bigfoot website. And when I listened to it, I said, that's what I heard a long time ago. And now I got all the time in the world to devote to this research. And since I'm on a fixed budget and stuff, I like to stay local here to Minneapolis. I've been exploring some parks and areas north of Minneapolis. There's been sightings in these areas, and I've been using databases from other websites that I've been visiting. One of those areas was called Rice Creek Channel Lakes Park in Anoka County. Now, there was a sighting a while back there. And I had a sighting myself October 9th up there, and I'll never forget what I saw. And now that I've seen it, I still, and my mind is still not processing what I saw a long time ago.
Right. Yeah, it's, thank you. Poppy just put up your, I think, a link to your YouTube page. So
the first Billy Jack.
What's that?
I think it's called The First Billy Jack. You look up.
Yeah, that's it. He just put a link up to it in the chat room, so I appreciate that. DB, you back with us?
Well, I hope so. I didn't even know that the Blog Talk hung up on me, so I was still talking to myself for a little while before I figured it out.
Oh well, it happens to the best of us.
Yeah, I know. It's a hazard of this particular format right now. But I'm back, and we don't have any questions yet, so let's just see what the guest is willing to share with us.
That sounds good to me. The only thing that was in the chat, Ed, I don't know if you know Jordan Warner. He's been doing an internet show on YouTube called Cryptid Hunt. You might want to check that out one of these days. You never know. Jordan might want to come out with you and do some filming.
That'd be great. I could use all the extra eyes and ears I can use right now.
Right.
I'm out there in the field now where I'm kind of deaf and my farsightedness isn't the best, so it'd be nice to have other people out there to help investigate well.
Right. So I understand that you've gotten a little help now. I know there for a while you were doing this kind of by yourself, going out with a camera into the woods and doing this yourself. I understand that you've gotten you a little bit of help. Have you guys, done anything together, seen anything, or experienced anything together yet?
Oh, Wildman Minnesota is his name on YouTube. He went out into the field with me. I believe it was last week sometime. We went to go back to the area where I had seen the Bigfoot in Rice Creek Park. Now, I'm kind of glad I had somebody out there with me this time. I've been kind of nervous about returning to that area. I don't know if it was just the shock of seeing this creature. I didn't expect to see it. I never expected to see it in my lifetime. I just thought I'd be out investigating and finding evidence. But once you see this thing, it really changes you, literally. It took me 3 days to get over the shock and the fear after I had seen this creature. And now, it's great that I'm actually having people to come out into the field with me to back me up, so to speak, and have extra equipment. I'm running on a fixed income and fixed budget, just a video camera and disposable cameras, and I'm not really equipped very well. So.
Right. Now, did the creature that you saw, did it do anything to make you think that it would, hurt you, or that it was going to, do anything funny? I mean, when you saw it.
No, what was happening is I was trying to climb over some trees. There was a lot of downed trees from a storm a while back, and I didn't want to run my video camera as I'm climbing over some trees like that because I was worried about dropping it. But as I was stepping over one of the trees I was climbing over, I heard a loud cracking noise just to the southwest of where I was at. And as soon as I heard that cracking noise, I looked up, and it was only like a matter of 3 seconds, I saw the back of the head and shoulders what appeared to be an albino or whitish-colored Bigfoot. I could say clearly that it was a Bigfoot because the shoulders were so massive and the head and the way it was moving was so freakishly fast. I tried to run after it, and as I was doing that, I turned my camera on, and I only got about 30 yards down towards the area where I'd seen it. And for some reason, I went into a severe panic attack. It just hit me like a stun gun. I fell to my knees, and I just felt like my life was in danger all of a sudden. I needed to get out of the area.
Now, did you have like this? Was it you're describing that you had this feeling? Can you describe this feeling that you got when you had your sighting?
Well, what I felt was it felt like my heart just fell into my stomach. I just couldn't believe what I was seeing. It was almost like you were watching a waking nightmare. You know, I mean, I've always had nightmares about this creature years ago. I never expected to see it, but it's definitely an overwhelming feeling that your adrenaline hits the highest peak you can imagine. And running only the small distance I did, this feeling of severe panic and like my life was in danger, it was an odd sensation because it hit my whole body all at once. And I remember falling to my knees, and then I started looking around and trying to figure out where this creature had ran off to. I just felt I needed to get out of the area as soon as I could. For some reason, I was feeling this flight or fear, and I couldn't describe it. I know my life was in danger.
Right. Now, did it take you a while after you had that sighting? Did it take you a while to get back out there and go look again?
I think it almost took about 3 weeks. 3 days was the amount of time where I was still feeling the shock and the fear. I couldn't describe it. Matter of fact, when I ran out of the wooded area and finally got to one of the park roads, it was just happenstance that a Parks Police Department car was going up the road. Now, I'm surprised he didn't stop to ask me if I was all right. I was on my knees and out of breath, and my eyes were as big as saucers, and he didn't stop and see if I was, well, to ask me what was wrong. But I'm kind of glad he didn't. If I told him I'd seen a Bigfoot, I'd probably get one of those breathalyzer tests. So I couldn't run fast enough to get out of that area. The weeds were almost like 10 or 15 feet high in some areas, and I was just tripping and falling. And I felt like it was still following me. I could almost hear it, in the brush when I was trying to run out of the park.
Right. Just real quick, just so that everyone knows, just in case there's some out there that's listening live who may not necessarily be in the chat room, our call-in number tonight, if you have a question for Ed, our call-in number tonight is area code 347-237-5070. I'll repeat that number in case you're writing it down. It's 347-237-5070. The phone lines are open. You're welcome to call in and ask any questions. And DB, before I go on, do you have any questions from the chat?
We haven't gotten any questions to come up from the chat yet, but I did want to ask some questions because you know that I've done some research might not be the right word, but I've looked into the possibility that infrasound is causing some of these things that we experience. And since I know that Ed had the experience, I'd like to ask him some questions and see how they fit in with the other things that I've learned. So, Ed, do you mind if I ask you a few questions real quick?
Sure, no problem.
All right. Well, the first thing is, when did you get the feeling? Did it happen? Were you feeling anything before you saw the creature, or did it happen all at once when you saw the creature?
It happened all at once when I saw the creature. I didn't have anything before then. I was just trying to cross this debris field to get to the George Wash Lake area. That's by this wooded section. But when I saw the creature, the full force of the fear factor actually didn't kick in until I was down. I ran about 30 yards down towards it to try to catch a video of it because I know the general area where it disappeared into. That's after 30 yards. I can't really describe this. It's almost like a stun gun. It actually felt like it hit from head to toe. I just fell to my knees. I just felt paralyzed with fear all of a sudden. I don't know why that happened. Severe panic.
Could you see the creature at that time? Could you see it when you got hit by the feeling of a stun gun type thing?
No, but I did hear rustling of some brushes and branches and stuff, which was still a little ways from my position. And I just felt for some reason that it had not ran away completely. It was still within the area where I was at, and it was watching me. It's almost a weird feeling.
This is interesting. Yeah, this is interesting because you describe having this this thought, I've got to go get this on my video camera, and so you were not overly afraid at that first moment. You started running towards it, and you had already lost sight of it, and you hadn't caught sight of it again before you suddenly got hit by that feeling. Am I right in describing it that way?
Yes.
Okay. Jason Will wants to know, did you smell any odors?
No, but I have smelt unusual odor in that same wooded area about a month and a half earlier. I've never smelt it before when I was in any of the woods up north. That can be only described as like a musty, mold or mildewy smell. You would smell in an old, gosh, I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a rotting, decaying animal, but it was like a really defined, musty smell. And I thought this isn't part of the brush I was walking through.
Right.
So I didn't think of anything about it. I just kind of, kept walking.
Well, getting back to that day when you were suddenly paralyzed with fear, what was going through your mind right at that moment? Like, did you get any words in your mind that you can remember? Like, you might think, "Oh crap, I got to get out of here" or something. What was it that you were thinking right at that point?
All of a sudden, I just started thinking, this thing is still nearby. It's still watching me, and I felt like it could have been anywhere around where I was at, and I just felt like it was going to hurt me. I can't describe that feeling, but I'm not sure if it's just a general anxiety that humans would have, or about a situation like this. But I just felt like my life was in danger. I really needed to get out of there fast. So I started to leave the area, but I couldn't run fast enough to get out of there.
Yeah. Well, I have something we can compare it to, because once when I was younger, I did something really stupid. I was in the Shenandoah Mountains. I saw a bear, and the bear didn't see me. I guess they're very nearsighted, so that's not unusual. Well, I wanted to get close enough to take a picture of it, so I started walking towards the bear. There were some other people near me. I tried to wave at them to keep them quiet so that they wouldn't spook the bear, and they saw me waving, and they didn't know what I was saying, so they yelled, "What? What do you want?" So, of course, the bear heard that and started taking off. Well, I chased that bear up the side of the mountain for maybe 5 minutes before it suddenly occurred to me, wait a minute, I am chasing a large animal with claws and fangs. This isn't a very smart thing to be doing. And at that moment, I could have had that same experience that you're talking about, but I didn't. The only thing I had was the rational thought, this isn't a good idea, I better turn around and leave. So I don't think that fear that you're talking about is simply human fear, although the fact is we don't really know what a Bigfoot is, and maybe when you add in the unknown factor, that's what can ratchet it up. But that's that fear that I'm really interested in, because it seems to be an abnormal fear. You take it all the way up to the top of your fear threshold, and you start to get these thoughts, it's going to hurt me. I've had other people say that they actually get the thought, I'm not welcome here. Did you get that kind of thought or impression in your mind at that time?
Yeah, and you speaking of that just hit it right in the head. I felt like I wasn't welcome in that area. But what I forgot to mention, too, what I actually felt, I don't know if it was important or not, but from head to toe, I had a tingling sensation in my body. I couldn't describe it. I don't know if it was just because of the quick blood flow in my body or what, but it was a real weird prickling, tinkling feeling I was starting to get, like it was flushing through my whole body.
Right.
And I just felt.
Yeah, that is important. I've been asking people what their physical experience is, right, when they feel that fear. And one person had a really interesting experience, but I don't want to tell you what that is because I wouldn't want to lead you towards it. But what could you tell me about what you felt in your body at that time?
Oh, I felt I don't know. I actually fell to my knees when that instantly hit me, and I don't know why I did that. And then I just looked around 180 degrees. I kept looking around. I just had a feeling this thing was circling nearby, or I just felt like I really had to get out of the area as quick as I could.
Right.
It was a severe panic as far as I'm concerned. And I can't just. I wish it could have been there. It's hard to describe.
Yeah.
I just know I wasn't going to make it out of there. Maybe I'd be one of these first case scenarios where maybe one of these things would actually hurt somebody.
Right. So did you have any trouble leaving the woods?
Oh, yes, because most of the brush I had to get through was like sometimes running 10 feet high and real thick. And you know how hard it is to walk through that. I was trying to run, and I was tripping and falling and dropping stuff. And I'd have to take a little breather, and then I would look around, and I kept feeling like this thing was following me still. I didn't shake this feeling until I actually approached one of the service roads leading towards this wooded area, and finally got out on some pavement.
Did you feel like you were lost at any time, like you didn't know where you were going?
No, but I did feel very disorientated. My thoughts weren't all there. I couldn't really concentrate or think clearly at all.
Okay. And one last thing. Go ahead and describe that.
Well, also what I was trying to say is that it was almost like I was living a nightmare. I don't know if you've had vivid nightmares before.
Yeah.
And this, maybe that's the only way I can describe this.
All right. Are you still
I'm
there,
sorry,
DB?
I lost my coin.
Oh, okay. DB, you done there?
The last thing I would want to know is if he's had any dreams since then where he has, like he's back in the same situation, or whether he sees a Bigfoot. Sometimes the Bigfoot might say something to him. Has he had anything like that?
No, but I did have some vivid nightmares about Bigfoot before this encounter, but that was like 4 months earlier. Right.
Interesting.
But these were dreams where I was trapped in some cabin up in a remote area, and they were trying to get into the cabin to hurt me. They were trying to break down the doors and pounding on the outside of the house. And I can remember looking through the windows and actually see them running by the windows.
Okay, interesting. Now that's the last question I had.
All right, let me get these callers on. Bill Green, before I bring you on, make sure you got your speakers turned down so we can try to lessen the echo. And Bill Green, you're on the air.
How you doing, Billy, DB, and Ed?
Good.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, Bill.
Good. Hey, Ed, are you currently investigating any new sightings or footprints or strange screams in the Minnesota forests?
Yes, I'm doing an area that's just west of Stacy, Minnesota. I've had some experiences up there this past month where I got my videos on YouTube where I know I was encountering something up there because I was finding freshly broken trees nearby where I was hiking through the woods. And Sasquatch Inc., he's got a YouTube page. He analyzed a couple of my videos and found some very interesting anomalies on them that really look Bigfoot related.
That's great. Are you ever planning on writing a book or doing a documentary about the Minnesota Bigfoot, or?
It's something I thought about, but I just turned 50, and I'm not sure how to start approaching projects like that. I'm so anxious just to share any information I get with people that are interested in this phenomenon, because after actually seeing one, it's been frustrating to talk to people about it. It's such a wondrous thing to see, and then you just feel like you can't talk to anybody about it.
Yeah. Well, Ed, when I saw the Sasquatch that I saw, I was just looking out my window, a couple of years ago, and when I saw the creature, it was like a freeze frame experience to me. It was no fear. It was like shock, excitement, and all this other stuff, and I felt honored what I saw. I didn't have nightmares about it at all. It was beautiful. It was like nice.
Oh yeah, that's why I'm glad I didn't have any nightmares after this encounter.
Yeah. But hey, Billy, what's new in Virginia as far as Sasquatch field research?
Well, we're currently putting up some trail camera systems over here in an area called Catharpin, Virginia, where we had a fellow who had a sighting over here. So we're setting up some trail camera systems out there, and we'll be checking those next week, see if we got anything.
Okay. DB, what's new with your research?
Well, my research is Billy's research. So he just told you. In fact, I wasn't even in on the trail cameras, so I don't have anything.
DB's been busy lately.
Been a little busy.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'll let you guys go, and thanks for answering my questions, and I hope more people call in and stuff.
Yep, I got 2 people on hold now. Thanks for calling in, Bill. We got a caller from the 662. I believe we got Henry May on the line.
Yep.
How you doing, Henry?
I'm doing good. I just want to express my thanks to everyone who sent condolences and well wishes after my grandfather passed last week. Really appreciate it.
You're very welcome, sir. You know, we've known you for a long time, Henry. You're a good friend, and you know, we felt really hurt when we found out about that. So I hope you're doing okay with it.
Yeah, we're doing better. Yeah, we're doing okay, Billy. Thanks for asking. I wanted to ask Ed, first of all, if he's familiar with a researcher in Minnesota by the name of Mike Quast.
Mike Quast, not at the moment. I'm just actually starting to get linked up with researchers now, which is great. But is there somebody that's pretty close to my area where I live?
I'm trying to think what town he's based in. Last I heard, he was, I think, in Moorhead, Minnesota. So, and he's written a couple of books. He wrote one called it was the Sasquatch in Minnesota, and then the other was called Big Footage: A History of Claims for the Sasquatch on Film, which is just basically goes through different pieces of video and film footage, including, of course, the Patterson-Gimlin movie. And he really did an excellent job on both books. And I didn't know if I figured since you were in Minnesota, I thought maybe you were familiar with him.
It'd be nice to get linked up with him because right now I've been doing research for 2 years and I'm still considered a newbie. I really am. I'm on my hands and knees with just cheap cameras and running out into the thickest underbrush I could find, and I need all the help I can get from other researchers as far as techniques and knowing what to look for and stuff.
Yeah, I understand. I also something that he wrote about in his book was a very interesting little pattern of how some people would see Sasquatch creatures around power lines or around power poles. And I was wondering if you had experienced that or had noticed that, you know, that they tend to hang around power poles.
Well, we do have a lot of main power routes that run through some of these parks. I have a research enthusiast. Her name is Nancy Snodgrass. She's been analyzing a lot of my tapes and coming up with a lot of Bigfoot images in my clips. Now, if it's just pixels or foliage, how can they all happen to look like what I'm looking for? So and these are located near power lines, some of these, and you kind of wonder about the vastness of this phenomena, how to really look at Bigfoot research. There's so much to deal with, you know.
Yeah, I understand. See, what Mike's theory was, his theory was that perhaps there is always the chance that they're attracted to power lines because of the noise, because they can hear that hum, you know, in the power lines. And he kind of speculated that could be one of the main reasons why they're attracted to it.
That's definitely something I'll have to keep in my mind when I'm back out in the field again in some of these areas. I can do some more videotaping right by these areas just to see what I can come up with.
Oh yeah, for sure. Have you ever heard of footprints being found near these power lines and power poles?
I haven't so far. I've gotten one footprint since I've been in Rice Creek Park last year, or earlier this year, and it was near a busy interstate highway too, and some power lines were in that area too.
Okay.
Thanks, definitely.
Okay. Well, that was basically what I wanted to ask, and I want to thank you very much for answering my questions, and good luck to you in your research.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you, Henry.
And great show tonight, Billy and DB. You guys are doing a great job so far, and
thanks, Henry.
It sounds like y'all got a couple more callers on the line, so I'm gonna let y'all go.
All right, Henry. Thanks for calling in.
No problem, guys. Y'all take care.
All right, you too. All right, let me bring in the caller from the 936 area code. You're on the air with Sasquatch Watch Radio.
Billy, I have a question for you right away.
Who's this, Wayne?
No, this isn't Wayne. Come on, man.
I thought you said Wayne.
No, I called you Billy. I said I have a question for you right off the bat. Why is it I always have to follow Henry May in the call order?
Well, I apologize. It's just one of them things that, whoever jumps up on the board first, You're going to have to dial faster. You got to dial faster.
You know who this is by now?
I think it's Smiter.
It is Smiter.
How you doing?
If I was doing any better, I couldn't stand myself. I was going to tell Ed that he's free to correspond with me anytime he likes. My email is Thomas B as in boy, 151 @yahoo.com. I've been doing this for 8 months, and I've gotten several photographs of them in broad daylight with just a digital camera. And I know it's not a Horseshack test, the photographs I have, because I've taken pictures of the same area back to back, and the face I can see is not there in the second photograph or the third photograph, and then it'll be back in the fourth photograph. So I'm seeing mine in broad daylight, and I've been doing this for 8 months.
What was your email address, you said?
Thomas B as in boy,
okay.
151
All right.
@yahoo.com.
All right. That'd be great. I need to really start corresponding with a lot of people because I'm still such a newbie at this. I may be doing a lot of wrong things when I'm doing my research, and it's nice to talk to other people to get tips and stuff.
Well, one of the things I did when I first started out in the woods is I decided that I would not act like a typical human. So I began doing things right away that were crazy and caught ridicule from most other people. I left food for them out in the woods. And where I've left food at, I've received wild turkey feathers, hawk wing feathers, and the upper half only of a turtle shell in place of the food.
That's odd that you said that. I just got a hawk feather from one of my trips into that park later this summer. I had came back on a snowmobile trail that I used earlier, and there was a broken birch tree right across the trail, which didn't seem right, or it seemed odd. It was broken in 3 perfect sections, and then encountered a hawk feather right in the middle of the trail, which I actually kept now. It's in my car. That is fantastic that you said that. I never thought about it. But.
Yeah, they'll leave you gifts. They're peace offerings to say, thank you, we took the food, and we thank you for it. That's just their way of exchanging gifts with you or showing their appreciation for what you've left out for them.
I'm going to have to start leaving things more often near some of these stick phenomena. Somebody told me to do that also.
One thing I've left out is sandwich bread, and I actually open the bag and eat a piece or two to show them that it's good and it's edible. It's not poison or anything like that. Then I close the bag up. And more than once now I've left a recorder on the chair next to the bread and asked them not to destroy or disturb the recorder, and I'll come back the next day and the bread will be gone, and I'll have a recording of them walking up to the chair, picking up the bread, and you can hear them opening it, and actually eating the bread. So there's all sorts of things you can do. It just takes time. They have to get used to you. It's not the other way around. Just like when you're researching any primate, from the smallest monkey all the way up to even humans. And there was just a tribe of Indians discovered this year in the Amazon that were shooting arrows and blow darts at the helicopter as it went over.
I know there's a research enthusiast, Nancy Snodgrass. She's analyzed one of my tapes from the Rice Creek Park and believes there's a young Bigfoot or a family out there where I'm at. She's discovered it looks like it could be a young Bigfoot in one of my video clips. So we're dealing with young, too, in some of these areas.
Well, the kids will be kids, and that rule applies to their children as well. So if that's one of their weaknesses, and I probably shouldn't be saying that over the air like this, but if you can find a way to take advantage of that curiosity that overwhelms caution, you will get some stuff because kids will be kids.
That makes sense.
They'll cause mischief and chaos, and the adults will be running around trying to get a hold of the kids and make them stop. And I've got recordings of that, and so do other people.
Maybe I'll have to link maybe I'll have to link you up to this video where you can see it. Maybe we may actually have a young one on one of my clips that's very almost discernible once you look at it. I'll have to send it to your Yahoo address for you then.
Yeah, once I get your email address, I'll be happy to send you some of the photographs that I have. The most recent one I got was on October 27th, because I haven't been back out there with the camera. I've just been walking in the woods, and occasionally they'll throw something my direction. But on October 27th, I got a picture of a female sitting on the ground watching me from about 50 feet away. And I never saw her until I got the photograph home and looked at it closely. But it turned out so well. You can see the white of her eyeball, and see that she has a brown eye, and you can see the pupil of her eye. And I took five pictures of that area, panning from left to right slowly. And she's not there in the last two photographs. She ducked her head back behind the brush again. So it's not an illusion of the camera or anything else. But I can send you that photograph as well once I have your email address.
All right, and I'll give you my YouTube address too, so you can check out anything you need there. I'm willing to share anything with any researchers,
Well, Smider, thank you for calling in. I wouldn't cut you off so soon, but I got two other callers on hold. So.
Oh, it's no problem. I'm glad you took my call, and Ed, I look forward to getting an email from you and exchanging information.
Sounds great. I look forward to it too. I need all the help I can get and people that I can relate to as far as this research is concerned.
All right. Y'all have a good night.
All right, you too, Smider. All right, let me bring this caller in. We got a caller from the 540 area code. You're on the air with Sasquatch Watch Radio.
Hey, Billy. Steve Willis here.
Hey, Steve. How you doing, man?
Hey, Steve.
Hi, yes, sir. Yeah, go ahead, D.B.
I'm just saying, what's up? Good to hear from you.
Oh, okay. Hey, I just dialed in because I couldn't get it to my computer. It's not giving me the sound tonight. But since you made a mistake of calling me up, I'll ask Billy a question. About a month ago, you had a guest on who was going to give you a video clip of a Sasquatch that they had taken, and you were going to post it on a website so we could look at it. Whatever happened with that?
You know what? Is that the one? Is that who we're talking to tonight? Maybe that was one of Ed's videos.
I don't think I've ever heard him on here before. I believe it was a lady that was going to give you the video clip.
Yeah, well, she's the one that's been working with Ed, which is who I've got on the show with us right now.
Okay. Did you ever get the video?
Yes, I can send you that link. Yes.
Okay, please do.
That's
all I got, guys.
Yeah, he's got it posted on YouTube, so I'll post that over there for you so y'all can look at it.
Okay, thanks. That's all I got.
Okay, you want me to mute you out, or you going to listen to the show?
Yeah, just listen this way, because I can't get it to my computer.
Not a problem. I'll mute you out, and thanks for calling in. All right, and we got a caller from the 304 area code. You're on the air with Sasquatch Watch Radio.
Hi, guys. It's Nancy.
Hey,
how are
Nancy,
you?
We were just talking about you.
Yeah, I heard that. I'm the old lady. Hey, I just wanted to remind Ed, though, that he's got those other ones. Like, he has the videos with the whoops in them. He has one with 3 clear whoops. That's the Northern Martian Lake area, the 620 video on YouTube. And you get on there, and it's as clear as could be on there. He also has that Rice Creek one. That's the one he was talking about with the family. There's a baby in the tree that jumps down out of there, runs to one of the parents. There's also a toddler hiding in the tree in front that runs back, and it runs to the other parent, and it reaches out for the other parent, and they hide back and hunker down in the bushes. That's the greatest video he has in there.
And I was watching that today, and it's definitely there. When you can't believe what you're seeing. It can't be anomalies or foliage because you're actually seeing what she's talking about. And besides that, there's a few areas of the clip where you hear growling noises. I don't know where that would come from. But
38 seconds on the clip.
38 seconds. I was going to use that tonight, but my speakers wouldn't be good enough on my computer to broadcast it to your show. I wish I could do that.
But on mine, if you go to Nancy1 on YouTube, Nancy1 WV on YouTube, you can on my what is that? It's called a playlist. And it has Ed's videos, but it has all the evidence in them.
Oh, cool.
And if anybody has any questions on anything, they can call me, or they can email me through there, and I'll be more than happy to ask or answer any questions.
Nancy, are you in the chat room right now?
Yeah.
Do you know how to put the link up so that people can go to that link?
No, but I could just put my name up there. It's the same Nancy one on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
I'm not real good on computers. And you know what? If there's anybody out there that can help Ed, you know what our biggest problem is? Like, we have tons and tons of these photos, but we don't have anybody that can take them and put them into a video so we could put that video onto YouTube.
Right.
I don't know how to do that. And
okay.
Also, we need somebody to take that one Rice Creek video with the family in it and slow it down, do it in slow motion, zoomed in slow motion, so that you could actually see it unfold the family.
Okay, very good. I'm sure there's some folks out there listening that would be more than happy to help, I'm sure. I know I'm a little illiterate when it comes to the video stuff myself. I have to rely on other folks to help me.
Yeah, I don't have much software on my computer, so that's why Nancy's been helpful. I have limited software on my computer.
All right. Well, folks, if y'all don't mind, I need to go to a quick commercial break, and then, Ed, that way you can get a little bit of a breather.
Oh, thank you.
So, folks, we'll be right back as soon as we go to this commercial. And everybody take a breather, and we'll see if DB's got any questions in the chat room when we get back.
You are listening to Sasquatch Watch Radio. Stay tuned.
Are you tired of the same old boring radio? Looking for something with a bit of an edge? Then sit down, strap in, and hold on tight, for you're about to be taken beyond the edge.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Let's get ready to rumble! It's down and dirty paranormal talk radio that takes you beyond the edge. Join us here on Blog Talk Radio Friday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern for Beyond the Edge Radio, as we interview the everyday investigator to the seasoned researcher. From ghosts and hauntings, demonology, UFO and alien life forms, cryptozoology, psychic phenomenon, and other mysteries and unusual anomalies. Paranormal talk radio that goes beyond the edge, and it's right here every Friday night at 9 as we take you from the boring everyday normal into the world of the paranormal. Think you're brave enough? Then lock your doors, open your minds, and join us if you dare. Beyond the Edge Radio, Friday nights 9 p.m. Eastern, only on Blog Talk Radio. Beyond the Edge Radio is an anomalous entertainment production. Check us out at beyondtheedgeradio.com.
Okay, folks, we're back. DB, did you have any questions from the chat room?
We got a couple. First, Squatch Biatch 13 wanted to ask Ed if he saw the face of the creature, and also what is his opinion of what these things are, whether they're apes or some kind of human or what have you.
Well, I did see the face. What I saw was the back of the head and the shoulders. And the reason why it came out really distinctive, and I remember that, is because when I was running from the area where I was at, I could actually almost see muscles rippling in the back area, the shoulders, which seemed kind of weird. It almost shimmered when there was a little bit of sun coming through the trees in that area. So I never turned around to look at me, but I knew what I was looking at. And as far as what these creatures might be, there's just so many possibilities out there. I've heard that even in the Bible and the Inca history that there used to be a race of giants that existed a long time ago. And I kind of thought, what if these things are from that time and are still trying to live out their lives, and they're kind of globally spread out right now? But I believe it is something that should have been extinct a long time ago. It has to deal with cryptozoology. There's been talks about this from other scientists and other people in the community, but I'm still pretty new at all this research, so I'm not sure what to think as far as the origins of this. But I know what I saw was a Bigfoot, and even though I knew that, I still, even today, want to keep trying to think maybe I didn't see it, maybe it was something else, even though I know what I saw. I don't know if that makes sense or not.
All right, what else, DB?
Well, let's see. We have from Scott A. Can you describe the vocalizations that you heard?
Well, the vocalization, I haven't heard one since 1975 when I was in Washington State. And back then it was a more of a howling scream, and even back then I didn't know what I was hearing. I was just a 16-year-old kid. And when I finally heard a recording on one of the popular Bigfoot websites, I thought, my God, that's what I heard a long time ago. Now, I have heard the tree knocking, and I found that phenomena quite frequent when I was in the McGillivray Bottoms, northwest of La Crosse, Wisconsin. That's a very extensive river basin with marsh and swamp down there, and there have been sightings in that area that are Bigfoot related, and if you've heard of the Dog Man, that's been sighted in that area too. So the tree knockings, I've heard that quite a bit. And I've had the growls, like I said in some of my videos. I don't know why I didn't hear them with my own ears, but my video camera picked them up.
All right, very cool. DB, can I take this other caller real quick?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Caller from the 612 area code. You're on the air of Sasquatch Watch Radio.
Hi, guys. This is Wildman. I'm the researcher that accompanied First Billy Jack just a few weekends ago to his sighting report.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I just wanted to call in and don't really have much to add, but I just wanted to give Ed my vote of credibility. I've been out in the field with him, and we spent a whole day together, and he's a very honest and forthright guy. And I've been to the location where he saw it, and his stories have been creditable, and they've been consistent. And look forward to getting out into the field with him some more. And I've actually been to his sighting spot twice now. Once with him and then once with another researcher from my organization. And we haven't found anything, but we're definitely following up on it and looking forward to getting out with Ed some more.
It's been great working with Wildman. He's been really helpful because I'm such a newbie at all this research. It's nice to have somebody with experience and more knowledge than what I have, and more equipment, of course.
That's great. How long have you been researching Wildman?
It's about 4 years now.
Okay, so you've been in it about the same amount of time as I have. Well, I'll tell you what. We could have a whole nother show. Do you want to come on and tell us about what you've been doing?
Certainly. I'd love to sometime. I belong to an organization, MinnesotaBigfoot.com, which is kind of an affiliate of WisconsinBigfoot.com. We got a team of guys. We've done a lot of expeditions and researched a lot of sightings out here in Minnesota, and just trying to get off the ground and try to gather as much research as we can. So you can certainly contact me if you'd like to do that.
I would love to do that. We'd love to have you on the show. Can you want to give me your email, or do you want me to? Well, either way you do it.
Sure. I shouldn't have a hard time contacting you through your website here. So I'll shoot you an email off your website there.
Yeah, it'll be perfect. I'd appreciate it.
Okay.
Thanks so much for calling in.
No problem. Talk to you later, Ed. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Bye, man.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Did you have any more questions, DB?
Nope, we don't have any more right now, unless I'm missing them. But, yeah, I don't see any on the chat here.
Very good. I think we still – go ahead.
I have some kind of interesting info. I'm planning to do another expedition tomorrow morning here in north of Minneapolis near Stacy again. This is going to be a difficult one because it's supposed to be 18 degrees below zero tomorrow morning when I hit the woods with a 25, 30 below wind chill out there.
Wow.
And it's not going to get any higher than 4 degrees tomorrow, so I definitely will hope my video camera will hold up to the cold.
Now, how many do you usually take spare batteries with you? Or?
I have a couple spare batteries, and I'm planning to use, like I said, Welch of Minnesota has given me some good info. He told me about the hand warmers, and I'm planning to activate one of those and keep them in my camera pouch to keep my camera warm.
Okay. And I believe DB might have a question in the chat, I think.
Well, Arky Feet wants to know, did they find any tracks?
Well, I found one footprint, which was on my YouTube page. It was a distinctive footprint because there was just happens to be right in a small patch of ground that was at a high weeded area. This was earlier in the summer, though. This was like the northwest side of George Wash Lake and Rice Creek Park. Matter of fact, following that footprint area where I photographed and videotaped, there was a very large trail going through some cattails and into the woods, and I didn't even know I had filmed the footprint until I got home that day and kind of looked over my video. The sun was kind of bright and the print wasn't really deep enough. But it is distinctively there. You know, I have the 5 toes and measured pretty big. So that tape is on my YouTube page also. So if anybody wants to look at it, they can check it out too.
All right.
Ed.
All right.
Hello.
Go ahead, Nancy.
Yeah, I found the whoops. I'm going to try to play it for you. It only takes just a couple seconds. Is that all right?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, I don't know if it'll come through. I'm going to put it through the headphones, okay?
All right,
ready?
We'll see. Okay.
Okay.
A lot of this may be random, but you're out here in an area where this thing has been sighted.
Did you get to hear them? There were 3 of them.
I heard something really faint. Did you hear them, DB?
No, I didn't catch them on mine. I heard the talking, but I didn't hear the whoops.
Okay, that is Northern Martian Lake Area Bigfoot Expedition 6-minute, 12-second video.
Okay.
It's definitely there. I heard the whoops myself when I listened to it, but my speakers aren't as good as Nancy, so.
Now, on some of the videos that you have, Ed, did you when you got some of the anomalies that you're seeing on there, did you see them at first, or did you look at the video later and find them?
We looked at the video later and found them, but during the taping of that particular clip or video, I would either mention or I would talk about hearing some kind of movement, you know, in the area that I was in. And I didn't want to keep saying that. I don't want people to keep thinking I'm just saying that when I'm videotaping, but I seem to be in an active area, I think, up in this area.
Right. All right. Can you do that again, Nancy? Can you try playing that again if you don't mind?
Yeah, sure. Let me get right to that spot. Okay.
Okay.
A lot of this may be random, but you're out here in an area where this thing has been sighted.
Did you hear it better that time?
I can hear something in there.
Yeah.
What about
if you go to the video, you can hear it better when you're on YouTube and you see the video.
Okay.
And you don't even have to have headphones on. It's clear.
I could play the growl at the beginning of this one clip I had a month ago if it'll come through.
How about you, DB? Did you hear anything that time?
No, the only thing I could think that I could hear in there sounded like branches breaking. So, I think
it was as the branches were breaking, and then you hear it. You'll hear it go whoop, whoop. It's 3 different whoops.
Yeah, I missed it, but I'll listen to it on the YouTube clip.
I can even give you the exact. It's at 2:33, 2:35, and 2:41 seconds.
And which video is it again?
Northern Martian Lake Area Bigfoot Expedition. 6-minute, 12-second from the first Billy Jack.
Very good. Did you have any more questions, DB, from the chat room?
I hadn't spotted any.
Okay.
I might have missed them while I was trying to listen to the whoops, though.
Well, do you have any questions for Ed? Let me ask you that.
Well, I'm still fascinated by that experience where he's actually trying to chase the thing and then suddenly gets hit with this stunning fear that makes him drop to his knees. I think that's very unusual. So I'd be willing to hear more from about that experience. If can you compare it to anything that you've ever felt before in your life, or is it? Can you compare it to anything else, or not?
No, because this is a first-time experience that I ever felt the way I did.
Yeah, like have you ever been in a wreck or anything like that where you suddenly get that peak of adrenaline and so you knew what it felt like before, or?
No, it was one time back in 1969 when I was a kid. I was exploring this railroad track area near the McGilvery Bottoms, which I've been investigating lately. And I did have a moment back then when I was a kid where all of a sudden I couldn't continue hiking down these tracks by this wooded section. I just felt like I had to stop all of a sudden. I felt really scared and I had to get out of there. And it's almost like something I could almost, I would say, something in my mind just told me I needed to get out of there. I wasn't welcome. Something was near watching me. And that was back in in the late 1960s when I was a kid.
All right, was that, I might have missed it. Did you say that was when you were hearing the sounds, or is this completely different?
You mean back in the 60s?
Yeah.
No,
maybe you said you heard the sounds in the 70s.
Oh yeah, when I heard the audio or the vocalization, that was in 1975 when I was in Washington State. And I was awoken, from sleep. I know it was the middle of the night. I was camping with a group of them out there. And this noise or howling scream, whatever it was, came out of the wooded area just up above our campsite. And I never forgot that. To me, as a 16-year-old kid, it sounded like a monster, anything monster. It just didn't sound natural. But I actually couldn't go to sleep the rest of that night. I stayed awake. Because I did hear, occasional branch-breaking noises, in the area where we were camping that night. But I actually had to stay awake all night. I couldn't sleep. That's how much it scared me.
Yeah. So was this, but this fear that you felt when it knocked you to your knees, could you compare it to anything else? I mean, that's the best you think of as going back to when you were a little kid and you got terrified?
No, this was actually the first time I experienced a full body paralysis, so to speak. I just felt like, I'd actually didn't consciously think about even falling to my knees. All of a sudden, it just flushed through my whole body like a tingling sensation. And I just got this severe paranoid feeling, like it was circling around there. It was in the area and didn't want me to be there. I just felt like that's why I felt like my life was in danger. It wasn't happy that I wasn't there in that area.
Yeah, those are common. The things that you've just said are pretty common when people are confronted with the Bigfoot thing and they get those feelings. They'll say something like, "I knew I had to get out of there. I wasn't welcome," or I remember reading in a book, I think it's The Locals, one guy had a camera. He was about to pick the camera up and take a picture, and he thought he heard in his head, "If you take my picture, I'll kill you." Which, I don't think very many of our listeners will actually buy that. But, if you're getting some kind of vibe off of something, you may put that into your own words in your own mind, that might be just the way he interpreted it. But he was definitely getting a vibe. I'm in some danger. But he could actually see it. You weren't even seeing it, and you were still getting those feelings, and that's what I find very interesting.
Yep,
I don't know what it is that causes that, but I'm looking into it.
I know it was.
Hey, hold on, just a second, Ed. Let me break in here real quick. We've only got about a minute left of the show, but we'll continue talking into the archive. So for everyone who wants to hear the rest of the show, once we're done recording the show, you can go into the archives to hear some more information from Ed. But just real quick, next week we'll have a fellow who is a Marine. This is the first time he will ever tell his experience on the air in public. The fellow's name is Jason, and he had a sighting on a military base in the state of Virginia. And we will have him on next week, so you want to tune in next week to hear his story. Okay, you can continue, Ed. Sorry about that.
Well, yeah, I guess I could tell from this fear thing that I experienced that I just felt in my mind that I wasn't welcome. It was, you know, like if you're at a point where you felt like your life was in danger, that means it wanted to do harm if I didn't leave the area, that type of feeling.
Right. Very cool. I tell you what, DB, I know I've always been interested in that too, and as you know, I had a similar type of experience back
yeah, exactly.
You know, and
well, your experience had something which dovetails into the experience of some other people that I've had. Now, this wasn't something that Ed actually articulated strongly. He said he got disoriented, but in your case, you kind of felt like you were lost, right?
Yeah, I did. I felt like I couldn't figure out which way I had went in. And it took me quite a few minutes to figure out, you know, and actually rationalize that the only thing I needed to do was follow the creek that I followed in to get back out.
Right, and a very similar thing happened to a witness that I interviewed last year. He had the same feeling, like he suddenly didn't know where he was anymore, and he had also followed a creek in, and he looked, when he finally saw the creek, he said, oh, that's right, all I have to do is just follow this creek and I'll get out. Now, that's an interesting thing. Ed, I'm guessing that yours wasn't strong like that. You felt like, you know, I got to get out of here. I'm not exactly sure where I am. But did you did it hit you suddenly? I don't even know where I am. I got the feeling that wasn't what happened to you.
Well, actually, I sort of felt I was disorientated. I didn't know which direction to start running. I just felt like like my mind just froze up, and I couldn't think. You know, it was just, I could look off around me 180 degrees, and I just felt like I didn't know where to go to get out of this area. It was that paralyzing, you know.
Right. He was lost in one video, and he filmed him being lost.
Oh, yes. In fact, that was up in Stacy. I actually, matter of fact, that was kind of embarrassing. It was one of my expeditions where actually towards the end of the day I had to call 911 because I was either going to spend the night out there. I couldn't figure out how to get out of the wooded area I was in. And they triangulated.
Well, now, was this a normal being lost, or did you have a feeling of being disoriented before you got lost?
You know, come to think of it, there was a feeling of being disorientated. It was after the tree breaking incident. There was a small tree that was freshly broken in this area I was exploring, and I actually heard this cracking noise of the tree breaking, and I actually found the tree and videotaped where it was broke. And it wasn't not too long after that. Actually, you're right. I kind of felt, disorientated or very confusing. I actually couldn't tell which direction to go. It was like it was a complete mind block. That's weird. I never thought about that until you mentioned that.
Well, here's what I've observed in the field, and I wonder if this is related. Well, first let me tell you what my little sneaking suspicion is, and that is that the people who think that it might be infrasound or infrasound related, which is that it's a sound that they can make and that will actually affect your body without your conscious mind knowing it. It probably is something like that, or it's a smell, but it's got to be something that they can direct at you, though. So I kind of feel like rather than a smell, which you have to rely on the wind for, it's a sound. You can point that at somebody. It could also be ultrasound, by the way. Very high-pitched noise that you can't hear can also affect you. Well, out in the field, there were 3 researchers on the back of a Jeep. One of them's driving, but we're all on this Jeep, but it doesn't have a top. And we're coming out from an all-night surveillance, so we're tired, but you know, we're there to look for Bigfoot, and it's an area where Bigfoot has been seen, so we think it's a live area. And as we come out, we come upon these 2 deer who are dazed, like they don't know where to go. And then when they see us coming, they get upset. They run this way, they run that way. They just don't know where to go. Now, over the top of this Jeep, which had actually lost its muffler, we hear. So over the top of the sound that it's making, we hear a branch break that is so loud you can hardly believe that it was that loud, if you know what I mean. It's a crack, a really loud branch break. And the deer, they hear that, they see us, and they finally figure out we just got to go in the direction that's opposite of both of those things, and they run off in that direction. But you could see the disorientation in their eyes and the fear in their eyes. And I kind of wonder if they had not been experiencing what we experience, and if that might not be what the primary purpose of that ability that they have, whether it be infrasound, ultrasound, or something else, if the primary purpose is to disorient deer and make them easier to catch, or any animal, whichever animal they're trying to catch. And it's just something that also happens to work on humans and make us turn around and run away, which is very good for them.
That's probably what I experienced that day. That's probably why I ended up calling 911, just to figure out how to get out of there. I was that completely disoriented. I've never been like that in the woods before. I got a great sense of direction. So it definitely I was completely at loss where to go. It was just hitting me real quickly after I heard that tree breaking noise that you described. It was a loud crack that I heard.
Mm-hmm.
And I videotaped that tree, and you could actually see how it was freshly broken. I don't know how something could break a tree, but the dimensions or the size of this tree that I found, you'd have to be pretty strong to bend this thing over and break it.
And where were you at your last visit where that thing was in the tree, that weird-looking creature was in a tree?
Oh, yeah, up near Columbus Lake.
Yeah, it's the same one with the baby Bigfoot structure. Well, we called it because it's little tiny stick structure. And he's got this creature, kind of looks like an alien. It's weird looking. It looks up, then it looks at Ed, then it looks down, and it's definitely has 3 different expressions on its face, and its head's tilted 3 different ways. We don't know what it is. It looks like an alien. It's kind of weird.
But the stick structures in that area were definitely organized. They weren't natural. You can see that on that video clip. They were just amazing how they create those things.
It was the same one with the baby stick.
Yeah, I filmed that because I thought it was cute.
Well, let me give you one more piece of information you can carry out in the field with you about this possible infrasound, ultrasound thing. The way that I've read it, let's see if I can remember how to put this correctly, the infrasound doesn't usually work just by itself. I mean, if you just get hit by infrasound, it will have a physical effect on you, but you may take it a different direction. Like, for instance, some people will experience infrasound and they'll get happier than they were before they had the infrasound. It depends on what the circumstances are. It excites you, but what direction it goes depends on the circumstances, and that is what the branch break or the vocalization is for. It focuses your mind. The branch break is kind of scary. You have to be big and strong to break a branch like that. So that focuses that experience that you're having, if it is infrasound or whatever it is, back down towards the negative, so that you're not sitting there going, oh, life is beautiful, I'm having a great time. You know, the infrasound excites you. The branch break gets you going scared in the scared direction. And once that starts, your body will actually, kick off its fight or flight response, and that may account for a lot of the disorientation and what have you. Although I really would like to talk to somebody who's had a fight or flight response that didn't have anything to do with Bigfoot and see if they could walk me through it, what it's like. I haven't run across anybody who could do that yet, but if I do, I'm going to compare it to what people, have had when they've, been with a Bigfoot.
I've asked, are we on air? We're not on air, right?
No, we're in an archive. We're being recorded, so people who listen
to recorded. That's why I'm allowed to be boring now.
Oh, okay.
I'm not allowed to be boring if we're on the air, but now that we're in the archive, I can just, Well, I don't mean to bring you down with all that
all right,
information.
then not as many people listen, right?
Well, we had 800 on the last show listening.
Oh, wow.
That's true.
I could try to briefly play this growl on one of my tapes. You want to hear it?
Sure, you've got it there, yeah.
I'll bet that'll come through, Ed, because it's pretty loud.
Yeah, because you'll hear me talking, but the growl is right at the beginning of this one tape. See what you think. Yeah, here it goes.
Just some quick fielding of the western and northern
Did you hear that?
section they're built to like here.
Is it like a growl as I was talking?
I didn't hear it.
Okay, I can try it again here.
Just some quick fielding of the western and northern section they're built to like here.
Okay, now that growl was at the beginning. It's hard to hear unless you actually hear the tape, or watch the tape. I don't know if you heard that.
Yeah, it's
I
kind of
didn't
hard
pick
to
up
hear.
the growl of mine. Yeah. It's Blog Talk Radio changes everything to really crappy fidelity. So even if you had stuff that was perfect, once you played it on Blog Talk Radio, it changes everything into a different level of crappiness.
That was true.
Oh, hey, Ed. Now would be time to ask anybody out there to watch that one that you did of McGillivray Bottoms. Remember the sound, the weird sound that came from across the river?
Oh, yeah, that's on there, too.
Yeah, see if you can get people to watch that tape. Do you remember which one it was? And it makes this really, really weird noise that we don't know what it is. If anybody has any clue of what it is, put it up there for Ed to know.
Yeah, it's on my McGillivray Bottoms. It's called here Cold Weather Expedition.
Cold weather?
Oh, no, wait a minute. I'm looking at my playlist now. Yeah.
I'll find it for you.
Somebody play.
It's really weird noise that it makes. It was like right when you got in there, huh?
Yeah, Nancy knows which ones. I got so many playlists right now. It's hard for me to get through them all.
Billy, how long ago did you have your sighting?
I didn't have a sighting. It was just an encounter. I call it an encounter because I've never experienced anything like it before or since. Was just a strange feeling. Now, two of my children were having a sighting at the time that it occurred.
See, and kids are so honest.
Yeah. I mean, they both were looking at it. It was about 70 to 80 feet away from them, and they stared at it for about 2 or 3 minutes.
Wow.
And it was right at the same time. We figured that it was probably somewhere around 100 to 150 yards away from me where they were having their sighting, and it all happened simultaneously.
Well, how did they act when they saw it?
Well, they both had a different reaction. The oldest one stood there and just stared at it and actually wanted to walk in closer. The youngest one was scared to death and wanted to leave and was trying to pull his brother away, because he was afraid that it was going to come after him. Even though it made no movement towards him or anything, it just stared at him.
Mm-hmm.
He had more of a fear response, and
the older one
didn't. He wanted to go. He wanted to move into the woods. So, yeah, it's kind of weird that everybody has a different reaction, and I don't think any of us really know what kind of reaction we'll have until it happens. So I think it's different for everyone.
Oh, Nancy, I found that. It's called McGillivray Bottoms, northwest of La Crosse, Wisconsin, General Exploration. It's the name of the playlist. But it's the third clip into the playlist.
McGillivray Bottoms. Okay, give me the time. What's the time on it?
Well, the time is 3:39 on the clip.
Okay, I got that one.
3:39. So everybody got that. They can get that off the archive.
And it's McGillivray Bottoms?
Yeah, northwest of La Crosse, Wisconsin, General Exploration. That's what's the title of the playlist.
Very good. Well, Ed, I want to thank you for coming on the show.
It's great that you let me come in like that, because there's a lot of information that people need to know out there about this creature.
Right, and now maybe this will help you, get in contact with even more people who are, maybe want to email back and forth with you, and you can learn more from them, sharing information and all. I think that's really important. So.
It's like tomorrow's expedition. I can see why nobody'd want to come with me if it's going to be 18 below in the morning, but.
Yeah, but that would be just because they don't want to get cold.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, DB, did you have anything else before we cut the show?
Nope. Just got to tell everybody to tune in next week for more Sasquatch fun.
Yep, we'll have some more fun. And Nancy, thank you also for calling
Thank you, guys.
And helping out. And Ed, hopefully, as you go on more expeditions and you search a little more, maybe you'll come back on the show and tell us about some new evidence and stuff you pick up.
I'm glad DB talked about the disorientation thing, because that's probably what I experienced in Stacy also when I had to call 911 to get out of that wooded area when I got lost. I was definitely disorientated very quickly.
Right. Well, yeah, that's always interested to both of us, actually. So. All right, Ed, thank you so much. I appreciate it, and hopefully we can get you on again soon. And Nancy, thank you for calling in. It was great having both of you on.
You have a good night, Billy.
You too. And
great to have you on the show.
Yep. And DB, thank you, as always. And, folks, we will be back next week. We'll have that fellow by the name of Jason, who's a Marine, who had a sighting in a military base in Virginia. I'll let him make the decision if he wants to talk about the base, and things like that. So until next time, folks, we will see you next week, and thank you very much for coming on the air.
A legend silently stalks the forest around the world, leaving giant man-like footprints in its wake. Skeptics scoff, while the true believers search for the answers, and those who have seen it will never forget. Monday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern, Blog Talk Radio. Billy Willard and the Blog Squatcher present Sasquatch Watch Radio. Your hosts, Billy Willard and DB Donlin, bring you 60 minutes of the latest news and information, newly discovered evidence, and interviews with those searching for the truth, and those who have seen it. Do you believe? Want to know the truth? It's out there waiting. Monday nights, 9 p.m., Blog Talk Radio. Sasquatch Watch Radio. Sit down, hold on tight, get ready, because it is about to go down. blogtalkradio.com/Sasquatch Watch Radio.
Gatorade. Studied, tested, proven. With over 50 years in the making, it's scientifically researched and game-tested to help replace the electrolytes you lose in sweat. Buy 2 Gatorades for $5.50 at 7-Eleven today.
Judy was boring.
Hello.
Then Judy discovered ChumbaCasino.com.
It's my little escape.
Now Judy's the life of the party.
Oh, baby, mama's bringing home the bacon.
Whoa, take it easy, Judy. The Chumba life is for everybody. So go to ChumbaCasino.com and play over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.